We've been having an amazing conversation about how all of these woke agendas are beginning to hit middle America and hurt middle America. And I want to start first with this ESG movement, this effort to force companies to consider things that really aren't about the bottom line or making return to investments or products and services. Tell us a little bit why you're so concerned about this and why HAFA is lobbying so hard to get rid of this.
So the woke ESG movement is not only targeting businesses with these quote unquote guidelines that they have to follow, which are completely out of touch with the core competencies or the goal or the purpose of the business, but it ends up also hurting us as Americans because we pay the cost for these woke agendas. Businesses then, instead of focusing on what product they're supposed to serve or the clientele that they have in mind, they're instead catering to this crazy left-wing woke agenda that is then driving this wedge between the consumer and the business. And what we found, John, as we dug into this, is that the reason the ESG guidelines or standards are so prolific across the country so quickly is not by accident. It's really because of the CCP and their hold that they want on American businesses to make us weak and ultimately to make us dependent on them. So there's a lot of really good reasons for conservatives to be worried about this and some great actions that everyone can take today to fight back.
So you guys have set up a very important website, esghurts.com. And what's great about it, it shows how all of this regulatory agenda is going to trickle down to everyday Americans. But it also has two pieces of model legislation that the Heritage Foundation has developed. Tell us a little bit about the solution side of this.
That's right. Well, state governments and state lawmakers in particular have a huge responsibility here to fight back. They can protect state pensions, they can protect state investments, and they can protect state contracts. And they can literally make them bulletproof from these ESG standards. So the model legislation that you find at esghurts.com, activists can download it, they can walk into their state lawmaker and they can say, look, you want to get serious about fighting the woke corporate agenda, you want to get serious about fighting China, introduce and pass legislation like this that will protect our state interests and ultimately the Americans all across the country that really want to get out from underneath the heel of this radical agenda.